Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Lili Nishmas, Imi Mirosirus Bas Mordechai. Welcome to all the guests, especially Rabbi Yomi Rosenbaum from Australia. 26 hours, and he comes directly from the airport here. He's here to celebrate the Shalom Zachar, the bris of his first grandson. And welcome. He's a big part of the shir, all the way from Australia. We'll just do a few emails. It's Erev Shabbos. It's late in the day. So first we have like this. We'll do Tehillim Beis Hashem after shir. The shir is Eli Nishmas, all those who lost their lives, and Refoel Shlima for all the people who need Refoel Shlima B'Karev, and for those who are kidnapped, captured, and for that Hatzlocha of the soldiers who are on the front lines, and being Moiser Nefesh to secure Eretz Yisrael, so they should have Hatzlocha, and for the Mishpachas who are in tremendous pain and suffering. They should have a neshama. They should know what's going on. They should have a Yeshua. As soon as the idea was shared, and I just realized there's a beautiful video out there. I didn't know how to grab it. It was on Yeshiva World News. The uncle of, I forgot her name, Migadish, whatever, the one that soldier that was rescued. So a day or two before, they made a whole thing, and the mother did. I spoke about that, and they brought a Sefer Torah, and they were dancing with the Sefer Torah with such simcha, and they brought the Sefer Torah into her room. And the son of the uncle, the nephew, the cousin of the soldier looks at his father and says, "And what are you going to be makabel on yourself? L'kovid, everybody's being makabel." He says, if they rescue her, I'll be Shomer Shabbos. And sure enough, he got the word. So he said on the spot, he says, En kimo Elokim, there's Hashem is Echad. I see the true Siyat Shmai, that they said that only she was rescued. It must be because I was Mekabel Shabbos. He started being Mekabel Shabbos. He's putting on tefillin. He said this whole story over without a kippah, without a yarmulke. He's saying this story. So I thought it was very emotional, a very special story. Look it up if you can find it. As soon as the idea was shared with the MDY Mishpacha, we jumped on board and made a reservation. Being a part of MDY since Masechta Sukkah, it's been uphill ever since. He's talking about the Shabbos. It's now 2 weeks since the special Shabbos together with nearly 800 people. Throughout it. I don't want to keep on beating it. But Lemaisa, I personally get a tremendous sipuk and ana thinking about it. What an unbelievable evening. I just spoke to Horav Yitzchok Sapoznick. I didn't even realize he was at the Shabbos. Yitzchok from Aguda. He's Fischl's nephew, and he said, unbelievable. He would do it in a heartbeat. His kitzer, his wife, like everybody. Every moment, beginning with the Erev Shabbos, 3 p.m. Daf Yomi shir, Shabbos tefillos, the sudas, speeches, miras, all great reason to be part of the MDY family. Thank you, Rebelli. Mr. and Mrs. Elio Naiman and sons who joined for Shabbos, and sons. Hi, Rebelli, it's Yossi Wasserman, also somebody who joined for Shabbos. Baruch Hashem, got another fellow Yid, Gabriel Chaya, to join the shir, and who's super excited to start learning today with MDY and continue learning Shas with us. Attaches a photo of us in front of Landau Shul and Flatbush. Sincerely, your Talmud since the beginning of Ksubas, Yossi Wasserman. Unbelievable, people going out and bringing more people to Torah. One person that I'm mamish fascinated, I can't believe what he's done. He keeps on outdoing himself over and over. Official Gross from Baltimore brought 170 people. You hear this number? 170 people from Baltimore, many of them who've never learned Gemara before, and they have to check in every day. He made a whole thing. Everybody checks in, and a whole thing. And the Rav is saying that they're learning during davening now. The daf, they're schmoozing about why is it shaykh that the fifth guy goes into the elevator and pushes the button. He's chayiv. The one that pushed the button, maybe the first guy that pushed the button, he's chayiv versus the fifth. It's not fair that the animal falls into the bar and the owner of the animal has to pull him out. All these things, talking and learning. It's unbelievable. 170 people. It's not a number that you could comprehend. So Yishkoach official. And finally, Shalom Aleichem Revelli. This morning I found my MDY hat just in time for a trip with my students at Haftar in the Five Towns. During the trip, my mother was a teacher there. During the trip, to my shock, was the live animal of what I'd just been watching on the ride there, a shar with massive horns. I couldn't believe my eyes. Here's me, my merch, my shar tam, and my Rebbe. I thought he's talking about me. Master Mechanach. I thought he's talking about me. Rav Yisrael Moshe Sif from Far Rockaway. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Your Talmud. Oh, so I am his Rebbe. Okay, good. Your Talmud since Psachim. Tzvi Mayer J. Nathanson, Woodmere, New York. It says New York. W-Y-A-W-K. New York. And J in parentheses. Now his name is Tzvi Mayer. He has a Shinui Hashem. Beautiful. Rabbi Isai, the sponsor of the month, is Eli Stefansky Ben Moshe and Eli Stefansky Bas Yosef, Parnas HaMont. Refua Shlema for Dvora Bas Sarah, Gershon Ben Moshe's mother, who has the same machla that my mother was niftar from at the age of 49. It's a terrible, terrible disease. And Baruch Hashem, she's doing a lot better. He went to Eretz Yisrael knowing that his mother was in the hospital and very weak and couldn't hold on any food. But they got her, they put her on different things, and Baruch Hashem, she's eating a little bit, and Baruch Hashem, lat. Paras HaChodesh, Hatzlocha L'zechus Yosef Mayer ben Rochel in Yidden worldwide. Paras HaShavua, Mordechai Sapoznick Lzaicher Nishmas, his grandmother, who was just niftar. Faigeh Shprintza bas Horav Yitzchok Sapoznick Shalom and neshama and aliyah. Paras HaShavua, Alen Kahen, Yocheved Mina bat Avraham and Emunah, Rivka bat Binyamin, Zechraya and Rochel. And Paras HaYoim, Refoel Grosskopf, Lili Nishmas Gisi, Habochor, Yosef Tzvi, Berib Shimon Klein, Dal Kiselev, Tafshun, Nun Aleph, that's way too young, the niftar, Art of the Month, Yosef Ben Chai is sorrowful, the schusim that come from supporting Limud HaTorah. Rabbi Isai, we are holding, we did the Mishnah on Tezvav Amud Beis, we're holding by the Gemara. It's an interesting Mishnah, and it's hard to decipher. Again, we had a Mishnah similar to that, where, there's official Mishnah, Moshe Cohen, Hatzlocha L'zechus Yosef Mayer. Okay, so the Mishnah, we'll just read it quickly because we read it. Chamisha tamim v'chamisha mu'adim. There's 5 tams, 5 mu'ads. What's going on? Are the mu'ads part of the tams? Is it something separate? How does the list work? All those videos that we did, the 3Ds of the animal who bites off a mirror and kicks a car and sits on a chair. All those, it's not a mu'ad. Hashen mu'edes, but to eat food, an animal has no chatzi nezek when it eats. It's immediately a mu'ad, lechel saroyla, haregel mu'edes lishbar b'derech hilucha, and so shem v'regel, there's no tam in mu'ad, they're always a mu'ad. V'shara mu'ad, I was going to say maybe this is just an explanation, v'shar hamazik b'shus hanizak, v'adam. Fine. So, let's see the Gemara. Midiktani Hashem mu'edes lechel. From the fact that the Mishnah says that a shen is a mu'ad, shen is mu'ad to eat. We said, what's the difference between keren and shen? Keren is chayiv in b'shus harabim, and shen is only chayiv b'shus hayachid in a private domain because it says ubir b'zdeiacher. You have to be in your friend's field. You can't be in a b'shus harabim. So if it says that shen is chayiv, so we're talking about in the chatzar nizak. Uktani. So let's do this. First of all, at the end of the Mishnah we had Hazeiv, Vahari, Vahadoi, Vahanomer, Vaharbardalis. So these are some of the things that we had in the Mishnah. We're missing the Bardalis. Yoshi did a Nomer, he did it. Nomer in Hebrew is not a tiger, it's a leopard. And I don't know, whatever. He decided Bardalis is a leopard. It looks like there's some sort of, he's chaylegami. There's no dive here. I don't see a bear. Fine. I'll go upon him. Next chart. This is my chart, so it's not that fancy. In the Mishnah says that Shem B'Shus Nizak, we have an animal eating in somebody else's domain, Chatzi Nezek, that goes according to Rabbanan. So it says like this. It says that an animal doesn't pay it all. It has to pay half. Mani Rabbanani. So the first part goes like Rabbanan. this machloikis the other day, Chachamim and Rebbe Tarfon. When we have Meshuna Keren, what's Meshuna Keren? When an animal acts weird and different, and he goes into the chutzner of the nizuk, he's a tam, he pays half. So the first part of the Mishnah goes according to Rabbanon, and the Seifa goes according to Reb Tarfon. According to Reb Tarfon, you pay the entire nezek, even though you're a tam. According to Chachamim, you wouldn't pay the entire nezek. So we have a problem, and we're very familiar with this question because we had it just the other day. A stira, a contradiction, and we say one part goes like Chacham, one part goes like Reb Tarfon. It's very difficult to understand how you do something like that. In one Mishnah, you'll have two Manda Amrim. And if you remember, we had Shmuel tells his Talmud, Shinana, yes, and here it is, right here. Does it make sense that the Reish is Rabbanan and the Sefer not? Because in fact, Shmuel told his Talmud, famous Rav Yehuda, Shinana, he was a very, very sharp one. If you remember, we had a whole sugi where Yehuda tore apart. Ravuna, who was it? Nachman, Yalta, who was it over there? I forgot the name already. Basically, he made chucha v'tlula from a big amoira. He was very, very sharp. Shvoik masnizim tav Yisrael. Forget simple pshat in the Mishnah. Come with me, and I'll explain to you. Yes, Reish Rabbanan v'Sefer Tarfon. You have to explain that the beginning of the Mishnah is Rabbanan and the end is Reb Tarfon. A big problem. That's how we're going to do it. Says the Gemara, Rebbe Elazar Mishmei the Rav Omar, Kula Reb Tarfoni. No, the whole thing is Reb Tarfon. So let's go back to the chart. I know Mark doesn't like it so much; he keeps on knocking me off. So over here, we're going to just say that everything's Reb Tarfon. You see, a second ago we said the Reisha is Rabbanon and the Seif is Reb Tarfon, which is problematic. Rebbe Elazar has a solution, and it's also similar to the solution we had the other day. So I put a little circle over there. The first part is talking about that the nizuk, one of the two, only the one that was damaged, not the damager, the nizuk, he has permission to put in whatever he wants in there, the peres. Lechad mem means the nizuk. And both have permission to bring their bulls in there, which is a little bit reverse from a typical thing. Typically, you would allow both to put in peres and not bulls. Okay, this case, both of them could bring their bull in, but they cannot bring peres. Only one of them could bring peres. So when it comes to fruit and the animal eating fruit, it's considered the property of the nizik only because he's the one that has permission. The other one doesn't have permission. And when it comes to a bull causing damage with his horns or with his feet, whatever it is, then it's considered public domain. In a public place, in Rishus Harabim, a Karen is chayiv, Shen is not. Omer Rav Kahana, I'm reading the Shema Kamed Rav Zvid Minarda, says Rav Kahana, I said this over to Rav Zvid, and Rav Zvid didn't like it. He had a different shot. Why didn't Rav Zvid like it? How could you say that the entire Mishnah goes like one person by the name of Rabbi Tarfon? It says in the Mishnah that a shen is muad. In other words, the first time it eats food in somebody else's property, it's a muad. He has to pay a full amount. Royla in, shen royla la. So you can make the simple diuk and say only something that it's used to eating. But something that's not used to eating, let's say a mirror of a car, it's not used to it. So then it would be a time that you pay half a nezek. But that doesn't make any sense. Why? Because according to Reb Tarfon, how much do you pay if a bull goes into somebody else's property and eats a mirror? How much do you pay according to Reb Tarfon? If it does something weird, different, like eating a mirror off a car, you would pay the full amount. But our Mishnah says, you got me all excited. I thought you were going to join us for the shir. You still can do tshuva right now. Nezek shalom mishal. Elaloilam rabbanani. Okay, so he doesn't like this pshat that both the Reish and the Seif are Reb Tarfon. It doesn't fit in with the rest of the Mishnah. Reb Tarfon says that if a bull eats a mirror in somebody else's property, he has to pay the full amount, and our Mishnah says you pay half. So says the Gemara, the entire thing is Rabbanon, boom, Rabbanon. So you have to explain the Mishnah a little bit differently than what you thought. That the Mishnah goes like this: there's 5 animals that are tam, they only pay half. And if they repeat it 3 times, then they become a muad. And then the Mishnah goes off and says, Shen is a muad right away. And where are they a muad? It has to be in the nizuk's domain. This chart might not be 100% accurate. So, but it's just to show that we're switching from Reb Tarfon to Rabbanon. In the beginning, it was Reb Tarfon and Rabbanon. Then we went, it's completely Reb Tarfon. Now we're going completely Rabbanon. 3 ways. Where exactly are they chayev? Because remember, Rabbi Yisai, Shem v'regel, you're only chayev where? In the other person's domain. In the one that was damaged property. There's no Shem v'regel in Rosh Hashanah. Maskal or Ravina, or not even Rosh Hashanah, even Rosh Hashanah that's not owned by the guy that had the damage. Maskal or Ravina, so Ravina doesn't like this either. Haktani l'kaman, we say on Daf Chof Daled Amud Beis all the way in the bottom, there's a Mishnah there. Shar hamazik b'shus hanizak ketzat. How do you do Keren in somebody else's domain? Ask the Gemara a very simple question. According to what we just explained, that the Mishnah is not even talking about. Here, I think. Hold on a second. Oh, this is how it goes now. The Mishnah is going according to Rabbanan, and we're talking about Vishar Amud, Vishar Mazik. Is in the beginning we thought the first prat we thought we're talking about Muad and Amud, and now the Gemara says no, we're talking about Regel. Vishar Amud is talking about Regel. Vishar Hamazik is talking about Regel. So we're not even talking about Keren. We're not talking about Keren. We're talking about Regel. So think about it. All of a sudden, the Mishnah of Chof Daled says, and how does Keren work? But we're not talking about Keren. This Mishnah is not talking about Keren. If the following Mishnah, Chof Daled, is a continuation of our Mishnah, then something is missing. If we are talking about Keren, like in the blue over here, Vishar Amud, Vishar Mazik is talking about Keren, then it makes sense. The next Mishnah says, and how does it work? How does Keren work? Okay, Ketzad, how does it work? But if you're going in a noob shot, we're not even talking about Keren. We're talking about complete regel. That's how we're talking. The whole Mishnah, you made a mistake. It's missing some words, and we're talking about regel. Okay, so we're talking about regel. How does the next Mishnah make any sense? And how does Keren work? We're not talking about Keren. What do you mean, how does Keren work? First, you have to talk about Keren, then say, how does it work? Says the Gemara, okay, you're right. Elamar Ravina, so I have another pshat. I don't like, Rav Zvid didn't like the pshat before him, so he said a pshat. Ravina doesn't like Rav Zvid's pshat, so he says a new pshat. Elamar Ravina. It's almost the same thing, but we're going to change the last line. So the last line is going to fit very well with the next Mishnah. That what? Chamisha tamim, there's 5 times. The muadu chamisha muadim, and if there's a muad, they do it 3 times, they become a muad. V'shem v'regel muadim and chilasan, and there's no such thing as a tam and a regel when it comes to shem v'regel. They are a muad. They chayiv the full amount right away. Huh? Does that include the double? No. That's Hatzlocha L'zechus Yosef the pebble. That's something else. They're not arguing that. That's chatzinezik, sroiris, something else. Which is anizik. V'zeu shor hamuad. Here, before you know what? I'll say this. I just wanted to start off the share with this, but I forgot. Now, V'zeu shor hamuad is not a new thing. That the first 5 that we spoke about in the Reisha, these are shor hamuad if they do it 3 times. This is not a new halacha. All we're doing is we're saying you should know something. V'shor hamazik b'shus hanizak is not a continuation of our Mishnah. It's telling us a idea that you should know there's a machlokes coming up. There's a machlokes between Reb Tarfon and Rabbanan. V'shor hamazik b'shus hanizak. So Mela makes a lot of sense. Now the Mishnah later on in Daf Chof Daled in the second perek, Chof Daled in the case of the regel. That is a continuation of this Mishnah. We just mentioned that you should know there's a machlokes between Reb Tarfon and Rabbanan in a case of Shar Mazik B'Shus Hanizak, in other words, in Keren. And the Mishnah later on is going to explain it. Good. And the Mishnah over here continues, and there are other ones. Here we go. The beautiful picture. Oh, love this picture. Hazev, Vahari, Vahadoy, Vaharbardalos, the wolf, the lion, the bear, the bardalos. I just like to say cheetah because I like cheetah. It runs fast. We're going to see in the Gemara, it's not so simple. It's a bardalos. Although the R, we showed him that talk about a cheetah, Vahanomer, and a leopard, or according to Rabbi Yoshi, he's Mukhulakami, it's a tiger, Vahanochash, and a snake. And this is mamish word for word, so we can run through it. There's 5 tamim v'muadu, and if they do it 3 times, chamesh muadim, they turn into a muad. V'shem v'regel muadim t'chilasam. And when it comes to shem v'regel, there's no chatzi nezek; they're muad right away. V'zeu shar muad, the 5 that we spoke about become muad. V'shar amazik b'shus hanizik mechlekes r'tar from Rabbana. And this mazik that went into the nizik's rishus, remember, according to Reb Tarfon, he pays the full amount, even when he's a tam. According to Chachamim, no. V'yash muadim acherim k'yetz be'elam, the similar muadim. Hazev ari adoy v'anom v'abaz v'anochosh. Fine. Iked Romalu, says the Gemara, Iked Romalu, some say that Ravina didn't come to explain. Remember we said the Reish is Reb Tarfon, the Seif is Rabbanon, how can it make sense? And Ravina came and said his pshat. No. What happened was, he's not coming to answer that question, he's coming to answer another one. Iked Romalu Mirma. Tanach Chamisha Tam Chamisha Mu'adim says in our Mishnah that there's 5 times 5 muads, Besuleka. What about, there's more? How can you count 5? There's more than 5. These are muad. Seems like even right away. They're born muad. Right? You can't say, oh, a bull, my bull is going to damage so-and-so. You're going to say the same thing about a lion? Oh, I didn't know the lion is going to pounce and kill that guy. Of course, that's what he does. He's a muad right away. Yeah, you're right. We have to stick in a word here. In other words, so I'll just explain. If you're new to this, Chasuri Mechser doesn't mean the Mishnah is missing words. Chasuri Mechser means that it's understood when you read the Mishnah. Everybody understood it then. We're just not, we're a little slow. We need an art scroll. So as explained in the art scroll, it means like this and this. Chasuri Mechser means, right, because again, when the Mishnah was written, it was written very concise, very, as few words as possible, because they had to memorize it by heart, word for word. So you don't put in too many explanations. Say things and it's understood. Maybe the Rebbe explained it to Talmidim, whatever it was. But there's 5 tamim, and if they repeat it 3 times, they become a muad. The kids were saying the exact same thing as Ravina said before, just on a different question. Why does the Mishnah say that there's 10? We see 10, not 5. Oh, because you have to just figure it out. Which we said before. That's what you have to say. There's other muads that are exactly the same. Like, for instance, fine. So I will show this 3D animation for a second, so you know what Revitza is. What is Revitza? Anybody? Sitting down on something, on the chair. Here, this is Revitza. Okay, that's Revitza. So, says the Gemara, we have to quantify this Revitza. What's unusual for an animal to do, and therefore it's considered keren, right? Anything that's unusual. If the animal, if the animal is used to eating things, that's called shen. If an animal is not used to doing something, that's called keren. Big nafka mina. What if he sits on a lawn chair in somebody's backyard? He would be potter because, well, we'll see. Says not potter. This Revitza that we're talking about is large objects. Oh, so something that they're used to do, like a small object, an animal likes to crush small things. It becomes what? Regel. And regel only works in Rosh Hashanah. So you have to differentiate. What is he doing exactly? If he's breaking something large, like a car, he sits down on a car. A bull doesn't like to do that. That's not his thing. But something that he's used to doing, that becomes regel. And he's in a Rosh Hashanah. He's walking down the Van Avenue, and he crushes, I don't know, a dozen eggs. It's not his thing. That is his thing. He likes to do that. That's his thing. So maybe he's potter because he's in Rosh Hashanah. He has to be in Rosh Hashanah to be chayv. Says Gemara, perhaps have a right. It says abeima mu'edes. You hear this word? It's a mu'ed. This is what it does. Lahalach kedarko l'shaber. Animal goes and it walks normally and it breaks. That's its thing. Ulemayches adam, and it likes to squish people. Vesabehema and animals. Vesakelim. Says Gemara, no, it's not a great raya. You cannot prove from here that miyuch means to squat and sit down on something. Perhaps it means dilma menatzad. So here's today's 3D animation special for here. This is minatzad. Of course, there's an MDY sign in the background. That's minatzad. That the side of its body destroyed some kalim. It didn't sit on it, so you don't have a proof with the chair, the other 3D animation. We're talking about sitting down a revitza, to plop down on something. Is that normal? Not normal. We're talking about what's normal for an animal. The Gemara brings a brayz here, that it's normal for an animal to walk and crush. Okay, it's walking and crushing. It's not walking and sitting. Sitting is a different halacha. But maybe sitting on small kalim is not shchiach. Who told you that you'd be potter in Rosh Hashanah? That since it's not shchiach or fakert, it would be chayiv in Rosh Hashanah. Okay, because if it's regel, you're potter in Rosh Hashanah because it's regel. Regel is only chayiv in Rosh Hashanah. But if it's not shchiach, then it's not regel. If it's not shchiach, then it becomes keren. Yeah, not to get confused there. Not and if you are okay, we're starting new sugi in a second. Yeah, nechama. Let's just do chazariah for a second. If something is not normal for an animal, that becomes keren. Keren is not normal. To gore, to bite, to kick, to squat. These are not normal actions. They become keren. Keren, you are chayiv in Rosh Hashanah. Something that's normal is shem v'regel. Shem v'regel, you're only chayiv in Rosh Hashanah. So again, the question that we had right now is it normal for an animal to plop down on a dozen eggs? Yes or no? Try to bring a raya that it's normal. Look, it says muah, it walks, it crushes. Yeah, because it's walking and bumping its body on a wall. That's minatzad. That's normal. But we don't have anywhere that says that's normal for an animal to plop down on a dozen eggs. And in Mela, since it might not be normal, maybe you are chayiv if it plops down in the middle of Rosh Hashanah on a dozen eggs, because it's not normal, and Karen is chayiv in Rosh Hashanah. Says the Gemara, Meisvei. Iked Omer Belazar, 2 lines before that. Iked Omer Belazar, like 10 lines from the bottom. Iked Omer Belazar, loitema pachim doilim hu delav. Don't say, just slightly different, from a different angle. Don't say that large things, it's not normal, but it is normal for an animal to squat down on small objects and crush them. No, it's not normal for a bull to just plop down on small things. But it says mefurish that it's normal for an animal to crush human beings, animals, and vessels. And on that, Rebbe says perhaps it's not a right that he plopped down on it, he squatted on it. Perhaps he was just walking, and that's normal to walk in Rosh Hashanah. You could really see that. You're walking with an animal in Rosh Hashanah, and the side of his thing, his shoulder hits something in the store. That's normal. Regel is rogel. Okay, it's normal. Something to remember. A zikar. Regel means rogil, says Yumi. Some people ask it as a contradiction. It says in the Mishnah, and not squatting on something. It says mefurish that it's normal. It's coming up soon, no? With Yaakov Avinu and the Pachim Tanim. Okay. Says Gemara, Hazei v'hari, my bardalos. What's this bardalos? Which I wanted to understand that it means a cheetah, and in fact, I saw it today in the art scroll. In the Mishnah, they didn't say it. So I just decided on my own bardalos is a cheetah, because in Hebrew, actually, it's called the bardalos. A cheetah is called a bardalos. And because it's the fastest animal alive, so it's geschmack to put it in there. My bardalos, what does Gemara say? Amar Rav Yudah, nafrza, which doesn't help us at all. It's a nafrza. My nafrza. Amar Rav Yosef, appa. It's like, what is it called? No, with the man. Kitzapiches b'dvash. Rebbe, what's the man? Tzapiches. What's tzapiches? Kitzapiches b'dvash. And what's that? You don't understand. Klai Yisrael in the midbar, and they went, and Akash Baruch in the man, and it tastes like, but what's a pichas b'dvash? No, you don't chap. They went, they were in Mitzrayim, they came all the way up. Kids, I don't know what it means. At the end of the day, this is nafrza, and nafrza is apple. Great. So, tzavua in Hebrew, in modern day Hebrew, is this. First, this is bardalas. Found a Geshmaka picture in Dubai. The Alen there loves bardalas. They like walking around showing, it's a way to show that they're wealthy. In the Rolls Royce, they have a shtickle, a tiger, and these guys, by the way, a bardalas, a cheetah, never killed a human being. You'll never find anywhere, Google it, anywhere that a cheetah killed a human being. They're not dangerous to humans. What? For animals. They love animals. They have to eat. They kill impalas. They kill sheep. You'll never see, in fact, in some places in Africa, on safaris, it's not so shchiach anymore, but you'll see pictures where they jump on top of the Jeep and they sit around in the Jeep and nobody cares. I actually held one of these. I'll show you later. Well, no, I don't have a picture of it here. I have a picture of something else for today with the lion that a lot of people saw already. Fine. But they're very small. I mean, the mouth is this, whatever. They're not very fast and they're weak compared to the other, probably the weak, from the larger cats, so the weakest cat. Zog the Gemara. But I have another one. This is one of the ugliest, this is the ugliest animal in Africa. This is the hyena. It's so that in Hebrew, tzavua is hyena, and some Rishonim actually say it's hyena. That's what they mean. A couple things about the hyena. Stam, you should know that it has the strongest bite, and the beauty of the way Akash Baruch created the whole bria is, if an animal dies, let's say an elephant dies, it could create tremendous disease. You have rotted meat. So obviously, a lot of animals come and eat from it and eat until there's nothing left. But there's bones. Even the bones disappear because you have something called the hyena. Hyenas eat bones. They need the what do you call it? Calcium in the bones, and they're able to crush bones. They're the only animal that crushes bones. That's what they do. Zog the Gemara. So holding by this, what's a bardalos? So we say bardalos is an apple. And the Gemara is a kasha because Rameir says, in addition to the animals in the Mishnah, it's also the hyena, the tzavua. Which is already in the Mishnah. Yosef, tzavua is an apple. So you have a big problem. If bardalos, a cheetah, is an apple, or forget cheetah, if bardalos is an apple, so how could Rameir say, and also a tzavua? If tzavua and apple are identical, so how could Rameir add to the bardalos? Loi kasha. Kam b'tzavua zochar, kam b'tzavua nekeva. This is not going to get so much to the oilam, but when you're on the safari, you know these things. The guy always says that the female hyena rules the whole clan. The zcharim are nebachs. If you're a zochar hyena, you're a big nebach. You get to eat last. She feeds everybody, all the kids, everything. And the nebach zochar, gets, and he's small compared to her. He's weak. So anyways, there's two types. But over here, it's more again, not just because they're nebachs, but because they're different animals. A zocher and a cave is a different thing completely. Why? The sanya, tzavua, zocher, so there's two things. A nekev is called a bardalos, a zocher is called a tzavua. That's why they're brought down different things. But, so why doesn't it say an aryeh and a lavi? Lavi, whatever you call it. I mean, the zocher and a nekeva. The answer is that a male lion and female lion are pretty similar. This is one of the zochers in the game. Not over here. As the Gemara goes on to explain. Now, I don't know. You could say whatever you want. explain it on your own. I didn't see a good pshat. We are not familiar with this. This might be al pi Kabbalah. This could be different things. I don't understand. That's all I could say. Tzavua zachar la'achar sheva shanim. Male tzavua, whatever tzavua is, after 7 years, nasa atalev, becomes a bat. Atalev la'achar sheva shanim nasa arpa. Now you'll see soon that it doesn't mean, most of this doesn't mean literally, because you'll see soon one line that says that we become a snake, our spines become a snake. Does it mean literally? Nasa arpad. Arpad la'achar sheva shanim nasa kimosh. Kimosh la'achar sheva shanim nasa choyach. The kitzer becomes a thorn. At 7 years, tzavua denata. Or maybe there's something like that. Choyach la'achar sheva shanim nasa shed. And the thorn after 7 years becomes a shed. Which is also interesting because the shed I thought was created on by Benashmoshes. Okay. Shidra shel Adam, listen to this. The spine of a human being, lachar sheva shanim, nasa nochash, becomes a snake. So what does it mean? Literally. Says the Gemara, v'hanamili de lekara b'moedim. So, when we do moedim, and it's interesting because I noticed, especially with the youngsters, they like to cheat. They don't like to do a full moedim. They go, moedim, they bend their head a little bit, Shalom Yisrael. But there's a way to do it. You have to bow like a snake. The entire spine, every chulya, every vertebrae has to move. Why? Because you're saying thank you to Hashem. Hakar satayv. You're being grateful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So you want to show him that you're grateful, not you bend down like a man. You go all the way down. Now you don't want to go too much because then you become a joke. So you don't go past your belt. You go down. You show Hashem, I care, like you do for a king. Go to a king, go. You do it like a chaticha ruil iskabed. You know what I'm saying? The snake, the Nachash, got punished by Kosh Baruch Hu, and he said you should be in the offer, you eat offer. Everybody asks the question, but what do you mean? He doesn't have to look for food. He has offer. But there's no relationship. It doesn't say he doesn't have to beg for food, and Kosh Baruch Hu doesn't answer him for food. There's no dusiach. There's no conversation between him and Hashem. Just go, get out of here. So when a person eats and he doesn't say moedim to Hashem, so he's like a Nachash. He's not having that relationship of Haidah, and I said this 1,000 times, it's geschmack to say it again. There's only one thing in the entire Shemona Esrei. When the Chazan says, Refainu Hashem v'nei Rafei, the tzibur doesn't stop and say, Refainu Hashem v'nei Rafei, she'enu v'nei v'sheya, or choynen adas. We say, Amen, Amen, Amen. There's one time in Shemona Esrei, we all say it together. Why? Because akaras atayv, you cannot be yoitza when somebody else says akaras atayv for you. The Chazan can't say thank you Hashem for the klal. The whole klal has to say thank you Hashem. So it's a very, very important thing to say thank you. When you show it by bowing down. So bow down like a mensch. You don't bow down like a mensch, your spine turns into a snake. What it means exactly, I'll pay Kabbalah, I'll pay this. I don't know what it means, a snake. I don't think it means a python. It comes like something, it's not. Taisus over here says actually a very scary thing. He says the famous thing about Malava Malka, but he doesn't talk about Malava Malka. He says that there's a bone in the body that can't even be burned. And that's the bone that brings you back to Tchias HaMesim. But if a person doesn't bow down like a mensch, then he'll lose that bone and he won't come out of Tchias HaMesim. Says Taisvis, it doesn't make sense that a person gets such a punishment for not having a Akaras HaTayv. But you see the Havamit, like there's some that say that. If you don't have Akaras HaTayv, it's the worst of the worst. You're not a human being if you don't have Akaras HaTayv. You don't deserve to live. Omar Mar, Remeir Omer, Afat Tzavua. We just said, Remeir says, even a Tzavua, I like to say that it's a hyena. When they are not domesticated, when they are domesticated, when they're trained, right? So you could have a Shabbos, you can have a lion who is trained, and he's not a muad. He's not, because that's not his nature now. So how could Rebbe Elazar say afanachash, that a nachash is part of the same category? It's very different. You could train a lion, but you cannot train a snake. A nachash muad loyla. Says Gemara, you're right. It's not an af. It's not even a nachash. He's not an addition to the category. It's its own category. Tani nachash. Nachash cannot be trained. Omer Shmuel, Ari B'Shus Harabim. What do we have here? Oh, I got a picture of Ari B'Shus Harabim. Ari B'Shus Harabim. Doras v'ochal potter. Okay, so what's going on here is this is another Ari B'Shus Harabim. This is in Kruger Park. This is Mendy Auerbach's dream, and he actually this is 18. I counted there 18 lines. They're mostly cubs. They're babies, most of them. But once in a while, you are zoicha. They like the asphalt because it's warm. So sit down in Kruger Park and sit down like that. Akoponim. So it's Ari B'Shus Harabim. Ari B'Shus Harabim. Doras v'ochal potter. Torah v'ochal chayev. Oh, this is, I guess they're listening to something over there. The cleaners or whatever. Doras v'ochal potter, Torah v'ochal chayev. So it's very interesting. The Gemara understands here something that I don't understand. Bisman hazeh doesn't really go with what I know, but according to the Gemara, this is how it is. Doras v'ochal potter. That the Gemara says that the derech, we have to remember this, the way a lion eats, says the Gemara, although Ravina says later on that is more like what I understand, is that a lion eats when the prey is alive. And if it eats when the prey is dead, that's shaloi kedarkoi, that's not normal. So it's not regal. So, doras v'ochal potter. If it kills the prey, it's potter. It's weird. It's different. Torah v'ochal chayiv. It's very interesting. You have a lion. You're not taking care of it. It jumped on an animal and killed it completely and ate it. You're potter because it's not the normal way. Torah v'ochal chayiv. But if Doras v'ochal potter. Doras means that he did not kill it. Didn't kill it completely. Because the way it used to be is that the lion would eat it normal, or eat it before it died. So if it ate it before it died, it's potter. Why? Because that's the normal way to do it. And if you do something normal in Rishus Harabim, you're potter. Regel b'Rishus Harabim, potter. The only time you chayiv on regel is b'Rishus Yocheved. So if you have a Ari in Rishus Harabim, he's in the middle of the public fair, and he just grabs a bull, let's say, and he starts eating, takes a bite out of a bull while he's alive. That's the normal way for him to do it, and he's potter because it's Rishus Harabim. Torah v'ochal. For me, it's very confusing because the way I know it, and I think if you look it up, lions kill their prey 100%, then they eat it. The only animals that I know that eat it live are like wild dogs. Most animals today, they suffocate the animal's completely dead, then they start eating. The Gemara says that's not how it is. At least that's not how it was 2,000 years ago. Doras v'ochal potter, but Ravina says it is. Doras v'ochal potter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how it is. Okay? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, if you do it normal, if it's normal to kill, and that's what he did, he killed and he ate, then he's potter. If it's normal not to kill and just grab a Avraham and a Chai and eat, and he did that in potter. It doesn't really matter to us how it is. Call it whatever you want. The point is, if he did it what the derech is, then he's potter because it's in Rishus Harabim. If he did what's not the derech, then he's chayev. Then it's keren. So it's the way you hear what's going on here. He has to kill normal. If he kills weird, if he killed the animal with his tail instead of with his teeth, then he's potter. Then he'd be chayev. With the tail, he'd be chayev because it's weird, and weird is chayev in Rishus Harabim because then it becomes keren. Says Gemara, so the Gemara explains, Doras v'ochal potter, if he ate it without killing it, potter, given the urchel midras, that's normal. Then it's like eating fruit and vegetables. Then shenin Rishus potter. Torav laburcheu, but to kill it completely is not its derech, and that's why you're chayav because it's keren. Says Gemara, the maybe the trevel laburcheu, is it not normal for a lion to kill? Voksiv aryeh toref, a lion will kill its prey. B'dei goraisam, and he gives it to its cubs. Says Gemara, you're right. It has to kill it in order to bring it over to the den wherever his is. By the way, this is also different than today. Today, male lions don't kill. It's females that always do the killing. They sit back and they enjoy, bring me some more, and then when it's done, they come running in, they shoo the females away and they eat. Typical male kind of thing. Okay. It says that it chokes its prey to bring to its wife, to the Leviah. Says Gemara, you're right. Bishvil levaisov. Typically, it eats it when it's still alive, but it has to schlep it a long way. It's not going to schlep it alive. It doesn't have a leash. It kills it and brings it. Vimal terev chayrav, and it fills. Terev means dead. It fills up the holes in this house, whatever, with the bishvil chayrav. You're right. It kills it to fill up the hole. Umaynaisov treifa, but typically speaking, it has treifa. It kills bishvil maynaisov, wherever it lives, whatever. A chai that goes into the property of the one that was damaged, tarfa, it killed it, behema v'achla basar. Again, so we're talking about killing. It doesn't eat it alive, kills. Mishal nezek shalem. Gemara says, the reason why I did it is because it wanted to kill it, so it has it for later on. Wait, I like this Gemara. We're trying to say, no, it killed it to save it. But that's not what happened. It ate it right away. It killed it to save it and then decided to eat it. Says Gemara, what you asked the lion? How do you know? In other words, you're making all these assumptions, and that's why you're saying a certain halacha, but maybe that's not what happened. Maybe it killed it to eat it right away, and then it's shalei kedarka. Says the Gemara, Void the Shmuel nami dilmachihu. Shmuel, maybe also he wanted to leave it for a long time, and then he decided to eat it. How do you have a kasha Shmuel? We're saying here two halachas. Here, let me just show you this. I wanted to show you a domesticated lion, sort of a tamed lion. I tamed him. You never saw this picture, Marty? I can't see it now. Oh, how about now? No, it's a place in Africa where you pay them like $100 and you get to pet these lions, but they're not trained. They're not like trained or anything. They're used to humans, but this is open to the jungle. In fact, while we were there, one of them just ran away, never came back. It's not an enclosed place. They know the people that you pay them the $100. They know these people because they fed them when they were kids, whatever. So once in a while, this guy in Eretz, I don't know if I should mention his name. Is Yerushalmi. He might still be alive. He was in a coma. There was a whole political thing with him. Meshi Zav is his name. So he went to this place and the lion bit his hand. Yeah, it's not. But Akopan is something. This guy, if he were to eat an animal right in front of us, that would be weird. That would be different because it's not his derech. He's used to humans. I don't know if they feed him. I don't know exactly what they do there. I just figured if they take money for it, it's probably safe. So we got out of it. It was good. We got the picture and we left. Says Gemara. It says two halachas here. Here's the two halachas. It says Tarva Behema V'achla Basar. So we read it as one long line that it killed an animal and ate its meat. So we said, well, wait a minute. You see from here that lions kill and then eat. Until now, we were saying that lions eat when it's alive. Over here it says Tarva Behema. First it killed it and then ate it. You see that that's the norm. Says Gemara, no, you read it wrong. The first part, the blue, is one halacha. The red part is another halacha. Shetarfa lahaniach. Tarfa is one halacha. It killed it because it wanted to keep it for later. It was saving for later. It just reminded me that on the crossing of the famous crossing that goes from, I forgot the two countries. I was there. There's a river, and the wildebeest, about 1 million wildebeest crossed this river, right? The famous crossing. Wildebeest. So what happens is the crocodiles wade in the water, and every once in a while they chop a wildebeest. Wildebeest is a giant animal. It's like a bull. So you can see on you go on YouTube or whatever, lions kill very easily because they basically wait and they're crazy. They have to cross and they don't care. They cross and they cross right into the lions. And every couple hundred get killed. So there's so much food that the lions kill and put it on the side. Kill again, put on the side. So it's like this is what it is. It's tarfa lahaniach. That was to kill either for the fun of killing or for they think maybe if we kill more, we'll have some meat later. Okay. Oy, but the red is another halacha. Oy, darsa v'achla. Achla basar is talking about that it ate it live. Two different halachas. And what's the halacha? Shalom is nezik shalom. You have to pay the full amount because that's normal. It is normal to kill completely if you're going to leave it, and it's normal for a lion to kill and eat immediately without killing it. Both cases you chayiv nezik shalom because they're both normal. Either they're not killing it and eating it right away when it's still alive, or they kill it. That's normal only if they have intent to eat it later on. Ravina Omar Kikomar Shmuel Bari Tarbos. That's the picture I want to show you. Okay, we're talking about a lion that is trained. It's not its derech to go ahead and kill. Why? Because the owner is going to give him some food. It's not. That's part of the problem. You can't take a trained lion and put him in the jungle. He'll die in a minute. He doesn't know how to hunt. So, if so, even if it killed completely, you should be chayav. Why? Because it's not normal. If we're talking about a trained animal, so it's not normal for the animal to be daris. So if it's not normal, then it's not shen, right? Anything that's normal is shen. It's not normal. So you should be chayiv. Elder Ravina Lav Shmuel Itmar. Elder Masnisa. Ravina was talking about the brisa. Now what it said in the brisa that if the lion went in there and he was toiref in Rishus Yocheved, he killed in Rishus Yocheved, he's chayiv nezik shalom. So it says like this. Kitana Masnisa Bari Tarbos. That brisa is talking about a trained animal. And according to Rebbe it says it's not its way. What time is it? Oh, getting late. If it's not the derech, so what is it called? A Karen. And a Karen has half a damage. You shouldn't have to pay the whole amount. Says the Gemara the Yid, because we're talking about it's the third time already. My Gabi told the Shen, Gabi told the Karen boiler misne. So it should be in a different category with Karen. Kasha. Okay, good kasha. Next Mishnah by Moshe Cohen. Yes, I say the whole thing now. Official Mishnah sponsored by Moshe Cohen. Hatzlocha L'zechus Parnasa. Ma betam lamud. Besides this idea that a time and a mood have nezik shalom and chatzi nezik, which is mufurish in the Torah, what other differences are there? El shadam shalom chatzi nezik megufay. We had this yesterday. That a chatzi nezik. Let me show you real quickly how it works. You have a tam that's worth 1,000 did damage to a bull that's worth 1,000. So the dead body, let's say, is worth 500. So the tam has to pay how much? Half a nezik. Really should be 250. What? Is that what they were asking us? I don't even know. Akaparim. What?
It's 250.
Megufay. What?
I think it's 250.
He has to pay 250, but it has to be because the point is this is not the right chart. This is from yesterday, but the point is that he pays up to its own value, nothing more than what it's worth. So let's say he caused damage of $100,000. He only has to pay up to the 1,000 that he's worth. If the half a nezik, let's say, is what did I say, $100,000, $50,000 nezik, but he's only worth 1,000, so he pays 1,000 and he goes home. Well, mud mishalom nezik shalom and aliyah, but a mud has to pay the full amount from the best properties that the owner owns. Forget about this animal. We don't go based on the animal. We go on whatever the owner has. Says the Gemara, what does it mean he has to pay from the best? His best properties. Rashi on Tezvov Aminal was talking about also that he has to give metaltal and whatever, but in metaltal there's no best in the chasim. When it comes to real estate, it's the best of real estate. Chizkiah was buried b'mala. What does mala mean? It's in the best caver, by the best of the family. He was buried by David and Shliма. You can't get a better caver in the world than that. No, I mean, one of the best, David and Shlima. Now this moves on to somebody else. This moves on to the Melech Asa. Asa was a good king. Ashikar lebir David v'shkivu b'mishkav asher milei b'samim uznim. There's b'samim uznim. My b'samim uznim. Reb Elazar Omer zine zine. Many different types of perfumes. Reb Shmuel bar Nachmani Omer b'sam shukal meriach b'em bolidei zima. That's the word. B'samim uznim. That perfume causes that person to do averos. Next pasuk is not even talking about Asa, not talking about Chizkiyahu, we're talking about Yirmiyah. Kikaru shucha. So pay attention to this word shucha. They dug a pit, a shucha, lilokdeni, to trap me, upachim tamnu l'ragla, and they put things there by my feet. This is unbelievable. The Yirmiyah, Hanavi, people were saying terrible things about him. They said, he was mizana. Even worse, he was with the Eishazish. Stam to detract him, to throw dirt at him. There's another pasuk. Remember, I told you to remember the word shucha. That Yirmiyah himself says shucha. It makes a lot of sense because there's another pasuk that says kishucha muka zaina. That the word zaina is together with the word shucha. So when he said shucha in the first pasuk, he was referring to znos, to zaina. But if the whole chashat was eishesish, my shucha, why did he say the word pit? Oh, says Gemara, that's the answer. That the eishesish, yes, she was also zaina. She says and a zaina. So that's why he said I was with a zaina. They're saying I was with a zaina. You know Hashem, they want me dead. Now, if a person is Oivan Eshezish, what do you get? Misa makes a lot of sense. But if the whole thing was that they accused him of being with the Zaina, you don't get Misa for that. Says Gemara, no, they did. They threw him into a pit full of cement, of Sid, and they wanted him dead. I'll just finish with this because it is almost an hour. Darish Rabba, my Sid, you muchshal mefanecha. Beis Abcha Asei Bahem. Omer Yirmiyah Fnekos Baruch Hu. Rebbeinu Shalom. I feel the b'shosh oisim tzedakah. I hate these Rishayim. I want you to take an account on the Rishayim that even if they do tzedakah, hachshilim b'vnei adam she'eina muhuganim. Here's the question, Rav Yisai. If a person gives money to a kailel, and it turns out that they don't learn a word over there. They're busy drinking coffee the whole day. What's the halacha? Do you get schar for giving them money or not? Guy comes here, you have no idea. He says, I have an unbelievable koil. You come to Shemayim, you see that it's a bush and a charpa. They're much better off in the army. What are they pretending that they're learning? Yeah? What are they doing? You get schar, you don't get schar. So it's a big shaila. The machlokes actually, but the I forgot who it was. One of the big dolim says yes, you get schar. It goes by your intent. And then we had a shaila. We spoke about this a different time. What about a woman who sends her husband to learn? Hey, go learn, and then she's supposed to split the schar with him. He goes to the Beis Medrash, and all he does is he sits and shmooze the whole time. No. So we said once about that the woman does get schar, he doesn't get schar because she had the right intent. She sent him, but that's what's going on here. That's the shaila here. He says, listen, even though they had kavanah to give tzedakah, make sure that bad people come and take the money, which is very interesting. From here, the Gemara is mashma that if you give somebody, a guy comes collecting from Eretz Yisrael, and it turns out he's a liar. He doesn't need it. There's a guy that came today, actually, right here in this Beis Medrash. He came to me. He's like, whatever. So I said, I also have a koilel. He said, I have a koilel. I said, I have a koilel. The guys do faheres on the chas. He goes, I do dirshut tests. So I said, oh, really? Where's Daf Yomi holding? I didn't really know. He said, but I'm in America now collecting. So I said, you really do dirshut tests? He says, yeah, I promise you I do dirshut tests. I said, when was the last one you did? He said, I did the last one in Kiddushin. So you promised me. So he said, I'll give you $100 now if you stick to your word. Do you really do Dirsha test? He says, yeah. I said, okay, I give him $100. He said, but if not, it's a no-go. You have to give me back the money. He said, no, I do it. I said, okay, people do Dirsha test, I give money to. That's Chashav guy. And then when he left, my son said, I think I just ripped you off, Dad. There's no way he does Dirsha test. That was a bet. What?
They say that when someone drops money and it doesn't mean to give it to
them. Right. They say right here on this exactly what you're saying. That if somebody drops money and some person picks it up, so he gets the zchar. So they're saying, so what's the pshat over here? Because over here, they didn't, if a person, what was something I saw was that they didn't want to be Mekayim the mitzvah. They didn't want to, but how does it work? He gave them, it goes like this, that Rebbeinu Shalom, these Rishonim are giving tzedakah. But if a guy gives tzedakah, he gives tzedakah, how can you take away the mitzvah from him? He says, no. They didn't intend to do a mitzvah. They were just trying to mimic their friends. They had peer pressure. That's what they said. It's peer pressure. They were giving that out to Shem tzedakah, it's peer pressure that you don't get the tzchar. And now, had it gone to a legit cause, they would have got tzchar. But even that they didn't get. It was not a legit cause, and they didn't have kavanah. So they don't get any mitzvah. My boys have a wonderful day, a good Shabbos, Motzei Shabbos, Shkoyach, Motzei Shabbos at 9:00. Shira Ma'alois. We could say it all together. Shira Ma'alois, Mimamakim, Grosicho Adonai, Adonai, Shemovi Koili, Yeno Azdach Kashubois, Lekoy Dachanunoi, Im Avoinois Tishmorio, Adonai Miyamoid. Kim khas likhol leman tivorei kivisi adinoi kivson nafshi b'ledoroi cholti nafshi ladinoi mishoimrim laboiker shimrim laboiker yachei Yisrael el adinoi kim adinoi achesed v'arbei moifedus v'u yivdes Yisrael mikoil avinu yisov acheinu kobeis Yisrael hanesunim b'tzoro v'shivyo hoim dem bein bayom ubein bayavosh amokim mirachem alei v'yitzim b'tzoro levocha u'me'afel lo'iro mishu b'legulo Hashto bagalov is man koriv and imaromei. Shkoyach. Remember, our boys say, "Mechayim misim brachim rabim, soy mechnoiflim, beroife choilim, umater asirim." All four things are going on right now.